and head that direction, or it could
We got the
be
key.
going for that red key that we're not entirely too aware of. So
I
Altair's also
wouldn't.
picking that power bomb up.
Okay, we're definitely going for Lava Lake. I was about to say I wouldn't like prioritizing the key right now, given that we have
It's,
no information about what key it is, and we know that Amorbus is guarding Flamethrower.
yeah, I agree with that one. Like, with the info we do have, that red key could presumably just be an Aegon key, and we don't want to touch it. We don't need it. And then until we find more information on the other bosses, chances are we won't need it. Pekka is very unlikely, but it's not impossible. And let's be honest, Quad being actually required is like, I wouldn't say it's winning the lottery, but it's winning the rando lottery kind of thing.
Yeah, it is very rare for Quad to actually have progression. But there is a Chica key. And yes, so as I assumed, we don't want to isolate Lava Lake, so we're just taking the original Magma route. Oh, that was a nice bunny hop.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And Altair is right back on the toes. Oh,
Oh, and
dark!
it's Dark Beam!
Ooh.
Oh, that could have been dangerous if they
Yeah,
kept going Root Cave direction.
that's exactly why you do not isolate Lava Lake.
Bad place. Good find, bad place. So yeah, we also have the storage cavern check here as well that we weren't able to complete. So it's another wee check. This is good routing. And Altair's not going to be too far behind, to be perfectly honest.
Nope. Also, the Echoes players will now have Dark and Light Beam within 30 minutes, which means their game world will open up a lot.
Yeah.
We will have like an explosion like opening of checks right here. Given that Dark and Light Beam are basically the main blockades Echoes players have to go around of.
Yeah, and this is where your experience with randomizer, specifically on the Echo side, really starts to shine, because once your game world opens up, it's not as simple as Prime, where Prime can generally draw like a straight line from A to B, and sometimes they'll be able to like loop around. Echoes, the world is so convoluted and a lot better designed that you really need to pick a direction and go, I am doing this. This is my life for the next 20 minutes kind of thing, because there's so much to do in those individual directions. So
Yes,
knowing your items, knowing what you've been sent and when you were sent it, really does push you in a direction. And it's sometimes you bite and it is the best play in the world, but you could spend 20 minutes doing something and then just get absolutely nothing.
camera.
Oh,
Altair
I've
seems
had
to
this
have
before.
some camera problems.
Yeah, this is a bit weird. Sometimes when you boost through the tunnel coming back from Storage Cave, the camera gets stuck behind the rocks. So you're just kind of left rolling around. Usually it fixes
Oh.
itself.
Yeah, I was about to say, how do we get this fixed right now?
I would come back into Storage Cavern and unmorph, reset the camera, and go back in. The Triclops is playing defense here.
Yeah. So, never mind. We still have it.
Yeah.
Just
So I would
go
go
to the.
through. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah,
Okay.
sometimes the camera is a bit wonky. It can get caught on stuff. Doesn't happen too often, but I've noticed it happen here and there, especially within Storage Cavern. So we have partners in Prime now in Fendrana and also in Pirate Labs in Aegon. Guy's doing some out of bounds shenanigans to see what is locked behind the super missiles and only sees a missile expansion, so nothing too exciting. And I don't think there was anything behind the ice in Ice Ruins East, and there was nothing on the spider track, so that's all good. I will have missed the item that was behind the shorelines ice, sadly.
Those were both missiles, if I remember
Both
correctly.
missiles.
So, Given how the game wall of Prime works, is now that we have Wave, we can access around 40% of Prime's game world. And not, another 50% of the world is locked by Ice Beam.
And then
So,
the last 10 is just plasma because why not?
yeah, the last 10 is like Plasma because there's a few raid checks where you actually are required to have Plasma Beam for.
One of the unfortunate aspects of how the two games are designed, and you can clearly see how much they took away from Prime to make the game world a lot better in Echoes. In Prime, your beams progressively unlock the world, so you need wave to get to the majority of your ice. You need ice to get to the majority of your plasma. In Echoes, you can be given light and you can journey through the world with light beam alone for a period, whereas you can be given dark in a different instance and you would have a completely different set of activities. And then once they cross over, the game world becomes far more open.
Yeah, but this is also, I'd say this was mainly made in development due to Prime One's artifact hunt being a long procedure since you have to go through every region again and every region has artifacts.
Yeah.
So what they did was they gave you a lot of ability to travel across the different regions in Echoes, and this opens up the game world by a lot more.
Yeah, it's not looking like Fen really has a whole lot going on here.
Well, we do have Cuman, Tardos, Workstation, and Labs left.
Yeah.
And also
Now,
Courtyard and Canyon, of course.
yeah, so early Fen is a bit of a bust. Just an E-Tank and Canyon, I believe. Getting knocked down by a snow cone. We love that.
I'm gonna be honest, that I'd take that A-Tank in Dace's position right now. I mean, surely if you're confident on low E levels, it's good, but this would have not been so much of a time waste.
Yeah, it's a fairly quick one to pick up, but I know that some runners are quite comfortable on 3E. It's generally, that's my kind of comfort zone, but I won't scoff at like an additional one, a fourth one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can play this game well on 3 E-Tanks, but having a fourth or fifth one just makes my risky plays
Yeah.
less punishing if I fail the risky strats. So
Yeah, definitely like Prime because the two games, like I'll quote Bash here. The two games are systematically very different to each other. Playing Prime is like a marathon. The more energy tanks you have accessible, the more reckless you can be with your race. Whereas in Echoes, it is a heist. You're stealing things, you're breaking logic, you're getting to places you don't normally get to, and you're robbing people blind as a result of all of that access that you have in the game world.
yeah. Oh, it's Seekers on Incash 1. I see.
Yeah. And E-tanks are good in Echoes, but combat for the most part is less likely a thing, especially with the fact a lot of your movement is sequence breaking, going out of bounds for some of the top runners and stuff like that, that you get yourself a few E. Once you have a suit, Dark Aegon becomes less of a problem. E-tanks are generally just there to get through some of the initial combat hurdles and to deal with Dark Aegon, whereas
Yeah.
Prime just wants to run face first into everything it can, and the more E-tanks you've got, the faster you effectively can go with that.
Well, that's also so the pinpoint for that is basically just that Prime is a heat run. That Prime is a fast-paced game in its movement, and where Echoes is a fast-paced game in its heat runs. So
Yeah.
basically, if 50% of your game requires you to heat run until you have Dark Suit, you need the E-Tank. But once you get Dark Suit and the energy gets lower to I think 1.5 energy per second, it's it's a lot easier than like 6.4 energy.
Yeah. So Dace is taking a save here in Observatory because we're going to go towards Research Core. which is a bit of it's a lengthy trip that if you don't get Ice Beam, you're kind of just expected to walk all the way back. So take that save, allows us to reset, makes it a lot easier doing the return journey.
Nicely done slope jump here.
So yeah, Altair is just following in suit here, is going to have the same amount of success in finding items as Dace has for Prime and Echoes.
Yeah.
There's not been a whole lot here. Whereas I think Java might actually be the first one into. Or have I just not been paying attention to Lucaris? I'm not too sure. Now, if Lucaris is already the Dark Labs checks here.
Yeah, Lucaris has already done Dark Labs. Okay. Oh, thermal. Okay, so this might indicate there's something in research core.
That's actually. So that's a good find because thermal logically has implications. Thermal to us as runners means that Thardis is in logic, Workstation is in logic, but you don't hard require thermal for anything. You can still do these checks without physically having thermal. So Dacian could still just reset out of this location with the knowledge that thermal is logical.
Yeah. But also thermal is a good find in the matter of playability for the final bosses. Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
okay, we are not resetting out of labs now.
Nope, we are for sure not resetting out.
We are keeping that boost. So it looks like Altair has decided to save warp out of Fendrana. Does not. Oh, actually, that is interesting. Boost Ball being an Aether means that we are expected to come in from reverse labs. Because you logically require Boost Ball to do Observatory. So we're actually doing this journey in back to front.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. And that does mean, as Captain is pointing out, is the Ice Beam is kind of not locked by. Is Ice Beam locked since it's past Observatory? Yeah, so Boost Ball is behind the Ice Beam, or at least in the logic chain, so that's actually good knowledge. And Ice Beam was hinted in Torvis, I missed that one. But yeah, it looks like Dacian is definitely going to return here. We have that Cobalt, we have that Boost Ball, we have that Thermal Visor. This is all items that we want to keep, and we're going to keep them. However, the only downside is Prime is kind of just in BK now. There are a few checks still left to do. We have Workstation, not in logic because we know that the thermal is locked behind the Ice Beam side of things. We have Flagra. Flagra is definitely something we can do. I think Flagra is actually our only logical check still remaining. So, future note for Dacian, if they don't actually know this, but once you've done the research core, you do not need to do the fight skip. We're in a completely different layer, so you don't actually need to like jump over any invisible barriers there. But yeah, I think Dacian's going to take this, probably save, and maybe go do Flagra at this point. We should be able to deduce what our logic is, so we should be able to go ahead and start kind of picking up some of the logical outliers. Whereas Lucarius just has so much available that they could go any direction they want. It looks like Java is heading to Hall of Honor Dead. Yeah, HOHD. I'm not too sure if Lucarius has already done this, so this will be potentially some information. Nothing in the Hall of Honor Dead. Well, it looks like Java is about to do the training chamber checks because this has been in Logic since we've been, but Altair obviously hasn't done the wall crawl here to get this information, so they're about to stumble into a red key that could or could not be important.
But yeah, that will also give us the information whether or not what kind of a red key this is.
Yeah. So if it's an Aegon key, we know it's bust. And I'm pretty sure at this point that Lucarius.
Yes.
Yeah. If Lucarius has not done the out of bounds for Mining Plaza, then we can presume it is nothing of interest. So Dacian is heading to Far Magma for the workstation checks and potentially to do Thardis. I'm curious to actually know if Dacian realises this is all potentially out of logic because of that boost location. It's such a little nuanced piece of the logic that it could be easily forgotten about, because for a lot of the high skilled runners, observatory dash is pretty common. Everybody generally knows it in the upper side of things. And you can quite easily forget that it's actually logical to have boosts for that. I do that quite often.
Yeah. It's something that's very trivial to someone that's used to how dashing works in the Prime games. But the more you do it, the less you think about it not being in tournament logic itself.
Yeah.
So even I did not think about that until you pointed that out, by the way.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I just realised went, ooh, spicy. Now, Lucarius is doing some Torvis Temple wall crawl shenanigans here. We don't have supers, so this nets Lucarius a few extra checks by being able to skip the supers. Oh, that bounce did not look...
I'm also pretty sure that this is simply because we have the info about the ice beam.
Yeah.
That's probably just gonna be worth checking every possible Torvis location we can right now, given how limited Prime will be in a second without ice. In the meantime, we will have a very good boss fight.
Yeah, so Dace is going to check behind Thardis. We know this isn't ice, so this is not going to put us logically back in step, but we do find a key out of it, which is nice.
Do we have a PB is the question.
I don't recall having seen a PB. No, there's no PBs lit up on Dacian's tracker, so Prime is still without a power bomb.
Oh yeah, right, what's Echoes that got it?
Yeah. We haven't seen either of the main power bombs.
Yeah, Echoes is getting a lot of SDKs. Pantheon Prime already has like 6 SDKs. And we're already having a good chunk of artifacts as well.
Yeah. So, Dacian is fighting the most electrifying rock in Prime Entertainment, Thardis the Dwayne Johnson. And Altair is going to check on our favourite developer of RNG, Zoid.
Ooh, this might also be a bad thing right now, given the items that Java already has. That Echo Visor might be a red herring for going for Echo's checks right now.
Yeah. And the fact is, Echoes is still without a suit currently.
Oh, they can actually turn it anywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like suits in these days have become rare to be seen in early game. Meanwhile, while I'm saying this, I was the one to gen the very first tournament seat and have suits on GMFC being dupable.
that is a very fun niche little thing to happen, and it was fun to see that.
Yeah. The thing is, in my 6 months of playing Echoes by now, I was always hoping for the supers.
Ooh.
I was always hoping for that to happen to me, and then the first seat I'm not gonna play.
Oh, wait. So Echoes has both super missiles, because if we've just found the Echo Supers here, or the Prime Supers,
Yep.
means Echo Supers is in Dark Torvus. That's kind of disgusting.
And we also have the location, no?
3 rooms away from Dark Torvus
Torvus
Arena.
Arena.
So that has to be like Great
Pitwood
Bridge
Alcove.
or the Dark. Is it?
That has to be Pitwood Alcove.
It does,
It's
yeah.
Dark Torvus Arena Access, it is the Forgotten Bridge Dark version, and then Pitwood Alcove.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Some more Emerald Hint knowledge coming in.
Dark Torvus Temple Keys, those might be coming up again once we figure out if Chica is required.
Yeah. Was it an up to hint? Because that could technically mean Dark Torvus Arena has supers as well, couldn't it?
I did only
It's
see
a-
Dark Torvus Arena, I did not see what it was up to or exactly.
Yeah, because like Dark Torvus Arena has 2 items, so there's a possibility it could just be in Dark Torvus Arena as well. But I never know how those like proximity hints. I don't know if they count as room 0 in the equation. So Thardus is taking a bit of time because we don't really have good equipment here to deal with this. No plasma, no power bombs. But it is just a missile expansion. So yeah, Altair's not really going to find a whole lot out this direction. There's nothing else that Altair can find that Dacian wouldn't already have. But Java and Lucarius are both in the same general area of the game, so they'll hopefully find the Ice Beam not too far from each other. And Lucarius is heading back into Torvus Temple? Oh, we're going down, right. I see. So, Ice Beam... If Ice Beam was in Torvus, not Dark Torvus, that kind of suggests it might be in Lower Torvus? Though I guess Java is about to do... Java's first to the plaza side of things.
Well, hilarious would be if the Ice Beam would be on Alpha Block and Echoes is supposed to Soft Block for trying to find Ice Beam blocked Breath Boost.
Oh, that would be horrible. Let's make it happen.
It's a TGC seed, I can believe it.
I don't make cursed seeds on purpose. The cursed seeds just follow me. I just don't have to play them. That's the best bit about it.
I thought you would say I don't make cursed seeds, because I would have had to remember you on some stuff I played. But this seed is not cursed in that way, but rather actually pretty interesting to see how...
Oh, there's ice.
So,
Torvus
Altair and
Plaza.
Java are first to Ice Beam.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's actually really good for Altair as well, because Altair is at the Life Grove area. Granted, doesn't have Boost Ball because they didn't commit to the Observatory Dash, which is technically in the logical side of things. Artifact in the tree, so Dacian has collected that, so I presume Dacian will just be moving all the way to the back of Chozo. We'll be catching up with Altair not too far from now. But yeah, Altair's not really going to get too much out of this Ice Beam outside of the Hall of Elders check and potentially Great Tree Chamber. But when Dacian gets there, Dacian's going to be able to do both those checks and Life Grove itself.
We might also still see Overgrown Cavern as a play.
Yeah. And it's possible that we might also see Frigate get done. Granted, we don't have Gravity Suit to do all of Frigate. But no, Dacian looks to be doing Plant. I guess the idea here is just to close out Chozo and just say we never need to return. I kind of respect that.
I think the idea is more a let me do stuff until Lucaris finds Ice Beam, and now that I skipped this gate, look, there's Ice Beam.
Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Do we get the turnaround? Nope, they're just going to keep
Nope.
going.
I don't mind this, given that plant can have progression, even though it's rare. If we have progression on plant and no one's finding it, or only one team is finding it, this can be a very dangerous location.
Yeah. Now, Dacian is back fully in logic on the prime side. The thing that would be playing in my mind is the most recent major item I collected was thermal. Because if you consider the order, we found Ice Beam led to Cobalt. We then went to Boost Ball in Lab Aether, and then we got Thermal in Control Tower. So Thermal, technically I think Thermal might actually put Cobalt in logic. I can never remember how Research Core technically works. But for Prime, the Thermal Visor is the last logical thing that we've received in that chain.
You need thermal logically if you don't have Ice Beam accessible to yourself right now.
Is that what it is?
If you have Ice Beam, in theory, you could just grab the Research Core item and leave through the Ice Door.
Phase on Suit and Plaza? Oh, that's... Oh, because that's a point. We don't have Spider to do Plaza, so did Lucaris do the...
Java does not have.
Yeah, Java does not. Altair has, however, found main power bombs, which to me cries out there's something in Life Grove. That is far too close for that to be suspicious.
Wait, did we have main power bombs in...
Prime main power bombs in Great Tree Chamber. Dacian is doing early wild and gets it very nicely done.
Nice. But main PB is in Great Tree Chamber. That is, again, I can't believe I'm repeating myself, but again, coincidental placing.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I'm always suspicious of Randovania when it places like a major item that immediately locks the room next door. It always feels like you're getting pushed into it. And then just nothing happens, there's nothing there. But yeah, main power bombs is a good find because we now know there is some power bomb based stuff. The unfortunate situation is the order in which these two players will find them, because Altair is going to be heading back to Fendrana, will then find the boost ball, will then find the thermal, whereas Dacian will come here and have the boost to do Life Grove and can immediately go into mines.
Yeah. That's gonna be a bit of a tough one there.
And it's one of the interesting things about
Called it.
Overgrown Cavern Spider Ball.
Oh, Sunshine had an artifact. Yeah.
Sunchamber had an artifact as well, yeah.
That's probably what we missed then during the blackout, but that explains why the ACN still pursued to do planned.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's actually very makes sense. So we have two bosses on the prime side, because if there is an artifact or a key in PCA, then we definitely need to do logically a Mega Pirate. But yeah, that's a find. Basically, Dacian is not too far off just having all of the majors. Question really comes down to is where will Plasma Beam show up? So the Dark Taurus hint for supers can be room 0 then, so that's interesting. So Dark Taurus Arena up to 3 does include Dark Taurus Arena. That's funky.
Yes.
So yeah, Echoes isn't too far out from having basically everything they need. Would appreciate a suit just to make things a little bit more comfortable. Oh, and Java takes a death. Was that an intentional one or was that a unfortunate one? Looks like they saved recently in Dark Torvus Bog. It's hard to tell what Java has items-wise because the item tracker hasn't connected fully properly.
Oh yeah, Java seems to not have connected the item tracker.
Yeah. Does have boost, which is good. That's kind of what I was curious about. It might have just been that they failed, they were unsuccessful with the fight here and managed to take too much damage. They do only have 2 E-tanks compared to Lucaris's 5, so this is very rough. Because this door into Dark Torvus Arena takes a lot of time to load, specifically on Dolphin. Oh, an Annihilator Beam on Lucaris's side, under the Chica storage room. So Dacian now has Spider. They've done the frigate crash site climb, picked up, and they'll be heading towards Life Grove area. Yeah, and it looks like Java's going to try and heal up a little bit, safely get back out here. They should be good. So don't think this light door takes as long to load. Yeah.
So this is a perfect example of what we talked about, given that Java's low in E. Dark Ether, especially in the later regions after Dark Aegon, becomes a lot more dangerous because the light bulbs that will actually give us a safe zone to heal in will just be less and less and less showing up actually.
Yeah.
So 2 E-tanks Dark Torvus is already hard. And we don't want to hope for Inghive with 2 E-tanks.
Yeah. So Altair has given us a new check, which was the upper fiery shores with those power bombs, but just led to a missile, so nothing too exciting. Dacian has just found their main PBs and is heading into Life Grove. I think Lucarius done the save warp, and I think they took a save at ship. So this might be a play for STK hints.
I mean, yeah, given that we have so few SDKs left, it's probably just worth having the info on where they are.
Oh, Spiderball and GFMC hint, lovely.
So this also tells the runners that Prime Spiderball is in Prime.
Yep. Not that that's really going to do them much now that they both have Spider, but that specific Violet hint is very tricky because it is always, when it becomes logical, it's always out of the way. So the information is good, but you're never in a good position to get it most of the time. So I don't reckon anything in Life Grove was of importance. I'm not seeing any HUD pop-ups that would really kind of push that. Java's in the unfortunate situation of having to use the light bubble to heal up a bit here to try and get back to Venomous Pond or whatever one this is. And yeah, Lucaris is definitely going for STK hints, so we'll get to see what remaining stuff is. And there's a red key locked behind this puzzle. We'll see if we can scan it. It's just an Inghive key. We can ignore that. We have Annihilator Beam, so we can take the back door in if we ever need to.
Oh no, the huntering through Java back.
Do it. Oh.
So Dace is going for the play into mines right here. Plasma turns out more often in mines than the last times I've played, in my opinion. Like the latest seeds I've played, mines always had progression.
Yeah, it's more common in CGC. Like in Solo Prime, it's a little not likely. But in CGC, you've got a lot more kind of nuance to the logic here. So Prime having its own plasma is fully viable.
Well, the thing about that is, in solo seeds, it's just the amount of items that you actually need to logically reach mines is just so high that it's very unlikely to actually have majors. And if
Yeah,
it has
so
mages, it's most likely just Plasma or Phazon.
yeah, so I missed the first STK hint, but it looks like we have an MQA one.
That's right on the way.
Yeah.
Under
Under
Transit
Transit
1.
1 and MQA. So under Transit 1, I believe, means we hard require gravity boost. No, under Transit 1 is the dark one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't actually need gravity boost, so that is achievable. So it looks like Plasma is our go mode item, effectively.
Depending on where the last artifacts are that we're missing, that might be the case, yes.
Yeah, let me pull up. We're going to pull up Dacey's stream so I can get a better picture of how many artifacts they have. They have 5. So there's 4 remaining. So that would... Oh, progressive suit in... That is good. Gravity chamber. So we found our first Echo suit.
That's good for Java, but Lucarius is far from getting that progressive suit.
Yeah, they won't be seeing that suit. And if there was another progressive suit on UMOS 2, I don't think Lucarius has seen a suit full stop. Depends how comfortable they are with final bosses. So yeah, we know our SDKs. We have an artifact at least in PCA, I believe, from what chat were saying earlier on. So there's only 3 artifacts kind of outstanding that we just need to get a little bit more knowledge on. So everybody say hello to Calvin. He is the Power Beam Pirate here. Calvin is now gone. Goodbye, Calvin. We don't like Calvin. He's a bit of a nuisance. He bullies us. Not as much as these turrets are going to bully us, though. This is why I always prefer getting rid of the turrets in this room. The amount of knockback that prime turrets do is annoying. And specifically, the turrets that are in mines do not freeze permanently. They unfreeze, and they unfreeze very quickly. And as you can see, Dace is taking a lot of damage here. This is a very risky play, not removing those turrets. So yeah, I can presume from going out of the way to get that E-Tank, they are going to be playing with the fact that they have no suits accessible. So that makes sense. They are going to go for the Echo's final bosses without suits. So that Wave Pirate is Ivan. Ivan's a cool guy. Doesn't bother us. Oh, red key. Are we grabbing it? We're grabbing it. Dark Torv is key 3. So we still don't know what Chika has. So it looks like Lucarius is in lower Torvus here, the dark side. Probably going for that under transit artifact. I'm just going to take a bit of a safety save here. Oh, and another power bomb for Echoes. So I'm not seeing too much has been found on Altair's side through the rest of the Far Fen. I don't see anything in Frost Cave of interest. However, Altair is just going to get themselves bullied by the pirates by not removing them. It's one of those things that, as I said earlier on, Prime gets to be a little riskier with its movement, where the more E-tanks you can have, but there are still rooms that I would rather just spend that few seconds clear out the enemies, because not for the fact that they do a lot of damage, it's the fact that they bounce you around a lot. The amount of knockback that Prime has is quite egregious sometimes. So Dacian finds themselves an E-tank which basically saves them. Like, they were on 50 health. That E-tank is going to make things a lot more cushier as they go into the rest of the mines here. So Dace doing a bit of a quick climb, jump on the Elite Pirate, use his shoulders to get up higher. Elite Pirate probably doesn't agree with that, but he can't really do much now.
Okay, excuse me. I had to do something for a second.
Oh,
What did
no,
I
yeah.
miss?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. Dacian almost died to turrets, but managed to find an E-tank and recovered. Lucanius is
Oh,
just mulling around in Lower Torvus, going for that artifact, no doubt, or has already picked it up. And Altair is obviously now picking up the far fen items. The only thing of major interest that was found was the suit, but I think you were here for that one.
yeah.
But outside that, not a whole lot has really been additionally located between the two teams so far. Yeah, Dace has only just hit the 10-minute mark now.
Working on it.
Plasma Beam is in Sanctuary Fortress. Was that main research? I never caught the end of that hint. But we
Main
have...
research should be. Do we have Dark Visor?
It's either...
No.
No,
But
we
main
don't.
research should be accessible through Lower Torvus. Oh,
Was it
main gyro.
Yeah, I never caught the tail end of the hint, but Echoes has Plasma, and I will presume Lucarius will immediately go for that, because that getting Plasma gives Dacian the ability to full clear the game world if there is anything they still need to collect, or allows the Prime player to finish as soon as possible. The one thing to note with the way that we time the conclusion to the games is the two individual times for both players get added together, and that total time is their end result. So Lucanius finds double damage and does look to be heading towards Sank from here.
Okay, there we go. Lucarius. Dacian is now also playing for an hour. So we're still missing. What artifacts are we missing? That is a good question. We would like to answer if there wasn't a technical difficulty at the beginning of the stream.
We unfortunately had a little bit of a blackout at the very beginning when players were going to Artifact Temple, so we only got a few of the hints. The only one we're fully aware of is PCA, and that's even still like chat are saying it was PCA. We ourselves never saw the visual of that, so might be. Dacian looks to have walked out of mines here, so possibly going to do Farfen until Plasma shows up, or had accidentally hit the warp before the hint knowledge came in.
Main reactor, Warriors Walk, PCA, Junction Site, Forgotten Bridge, Plant. So I'm pretty sure we grabbed Main Plaza. We don't have a Cursed Lake because also we need we need Dark Visor for a Cursed Lake.
Yeah, so Main Plaza was the tree, yeah.
Main Plaza we picked up, Communication Area we picked up. I am pretty sure we picked up, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we did pick up Main Reactor?
Well, that's Warriors where we're...
Warriors
oh
Walk,
yeah, we didn't Main Reactor, yeah.
Warriors Walk we did not pick up because we didn't have super... PCA we don't have yet, and I think the last one is Junction Side, given that we did not have Spider when we did Dark Labs for the first time.
Yeah. So yeah, it does look like Dace is moving around doing some of the additional checks before that Plasma comes in. Probably looking for a suit, because I think that's all that's really left. Unless we're looking for Dark Visor. I think we are, aren't we, for the Cursed Lake? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we're
Dark
not in go
Visor
mode.
is going to be go mode.
So this, folks, is where we start to we get into the interesting part of the seed where we start to take bets on where we think our go mode Dark Visor is going to be.
I think you know where it's going to be. There's only one check where it could be to make it a perfect seed, and that's on Mega Pirate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Stick it on the big man himself, so it's doubly required.
Well, it's Dark Visor go mode, given that we know where Plasma is, and
Yeah.
Lucarius is gonna pick up Plasma in a hot second here.
Yeah, Plasma is in sync. We know it's in this area, so Lucarius is specifically routing for that. Whereas Dacian is doing as much cleanup as they can until that Plasma comes in, because we do know that we need Dark Visor and there's no way to skip it. Ooh, progressive suit.
That was main energy controller.
Yeah, so that's the 2 Moss hint.
That was just a double
Reconfirmed.
2%.
It's kind of gutting that we don't get a light suit required, but at least we have generated a vanilla light suit, which is always fun.
Reminds me of the one seat where I accidentally gen a vanilla light suit and a vanilla dark suit.
Oh, what they needed?
Yes.
That's even better. Oh. Yeah, so Dacian's not going to be too far off finding at least the first suit for Lucarius. And I think one of the nice things as well is that suit hint will have inferred that there is only one progressive suit in Echoes. So they know that the other progressive suit is somewhere in Prime.
Yes. Also, might be good to point out that Dace did not wait for Plasma Beam to check storage, Kevin.
Yeah, but it's skipping out on Security Cave though, which I kind of find weird.
Oh, did we skip both checks?
Yeah, it didn't go up at all.
Let's see. So we're seeing the Dark Suit. And we're accepting our fate being, well, we are forced to have Flying Pirates and Firefen.
I much prefer that to the Flicker Bats. Flicker Bats are far worse.
I kind of agree and I kind of disagree based on Flicker Bats are worse in one room, while the Flying Pirates will also annoy you on your way out of here.
Yeah, but the Flying Pirates you can kind of just ignore for the most part.
Also, I just noticed, where was Gravity Suit given that Altair has gravity?
It's a very good question. And I'm not entirely too sure I have the answer for that one. And I'm pretty sure they might have had it before they found the progressive suit in Gravity Chamber, because I don't think they had to slope jump out.
Yeah, I just realized that because I was like, wait, but Lucaria, but Altair did not do gravityless underwater shenanigans. We just
I wonder if it's in high security. I wonder if it's just in Security Cave.
Oh, that would be a funny punishment for skipping high security.
So there is Plasma Beam. So Prime is in full clear mode. World Tour time. Yeah, so we'll see what Dacian decides to do. Are they going to go all the way up? It looks like they are. So maybe this was a conscious decision that because they didn't have Plasma, they were going to wait until Plasma came through and do both checks together. That I kind of get. That makes sense now.
Interesting style. So I'm pretty sure if this would have been Dark Visor, we would have had it.
Yeah.
Yep, and there comes the safe reset. Probably
that
back
makes
to
sense.
mines?
I'm hoping so, yeah. That would be a really strong pivot save if they had done that. Thank you, Cobalt Locked Morphball hint.
And then people tell me, but hell, it's hinted.
Yeah, so we are now fully fledged Dark Visor Go mode search. Looks like Java's on their way to get their own SDK hints, but partners in Prime are pretty much in. We need to clear everything because we need that dark vision.
Yeah.
We are not a D&D dwarf class. We don't just inherently have it. We need to go find it.
We need that Crimson translator. So both players from Partner and Prime do exactly what I anticipated them to do. They're both going for the region that has the biggest cluster of checks right now instead of following the last major they got in the progression chain. Given
Yeah.
that for Go mode you just want to clear out the game as fast as possible, while keeping in mind what is in logic and what is not will help you. But given the amount of items that we have right now, to be honest, there is not that much left that can't be in logic.
Yeah. Oh, just short. Yeah, so Dacian picking up the SDK that is in MQA. We'll just be heading into the remainder of lower mines here and just completing as much as they can. So this is just going to be like a single string. They're just going to go one direction and keep picking up everything they can. Whereas JhavAltair are unfortunately in probably a little bit of BK, but they're not too far off it. Because until Java gets themselves down into lower Torvis, they're not going to see that hint for Plasma.
Yeah. Why do I always feel like the best Torvisons are always in low Torvis?
Lower Torvis does have like really good hint strength. Like I always find that lower Torvis will have something. Oh, Chica has an E-Tank.
Nice, so that's also bad. The only boss that might be required then is for Draxus.
Dark Visor on quad would be horrible, but funny.
Oh god. I meant for the light suit, TGC. Oh, Dark Visor could be light suit locked now that I think about it.
Good. Ugh.
Imagine you'd had to do quad just to get Dark Visor at some point.
The question, like, see, if that was the case, how long do you think it would be before one of the teams ends up having to do it? Do you think they would start
Given
doing, like, out of logic checks? Would they start doing, like, all the wall crawls first, or would they just go get the light suit? What's actually faster in that position?
it depends on rather if you can grab the info about Dark Visor for the specific spot. So if Lucarius is getting into BK next, I'm pretty sure Lucarius is just gonna go for getting the energy and doing quad skip.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple checks where Dark Visor could be light suit locked, and wall crawling for everyone would in the end just be slower than picking up light suit itself.
Yeah. So it looks like Lucarius is prioritising the remaining Prime hints. I think they have correctly identified that Prime's game world is nearly full cleared. So their aim here is to get Prime finished, get that dot done on the Prime tracker, and just leave Echoes to full clear the rest of their game.
This could also be a bit of a problem though, if Prime misses anything and that anything turns out to be Dark Visor, that could be a huge time loss.
Yeah. Though I do think that actually Prime can't even complete because we have a Dark Visor locked artifact. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, they just can't.
Oh, we're probably just picking up the artifacts given that we're in Dark Aegon anyway.
Yeah. So here's a Mega Pirate, and goodbye, a Mega Pirate.
And Dark Visor. Oh.
Oh. So that's as funky as that would be. It does mean that Dark Visor is progressively getting into worse and worse locations and echoes.
There's still some locations we didn't touch yet in Echoes. It must not be in the worst place imaginable. But we're getting closer for it to be in bad places.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think in Prime. So Prime has all of Frigate remaining. Prime has
Hall of the Elders. Or
Hall of
Elder
the
Chamber.
Elders or Elder Chamber. I think that's all that's left is Elder Chamber. Magmoor is full clear from both teams, so we know everything that's there.
We know
And
from
then
Days that it's not in Mines.
we know
And
it's
not
not in
in
Mines.
Fen. Well,
It could still be in Fen
we
because we
could still
haven't
be
seen
Fen.
the plasma check in Chapel.
I was about to say we never checked Chapel actually, and it looks like Days is getting King of the Hilt in a second. No, we're still getting it. Nice.
Yeah. So, tip for the PPC climb: remove the turret. Just
Yeah.
aim up, shoot the turret, 3 missiles, get it out of the way. It just makes the climb infinitely easier and smoother because you don't have to worry about getting rapid fired off the top of it.
Oh!
Oh, okay. We have found Dark Visor.
Biohazard strikes back. I can't believe this.
So that is actually good for partners in Prime. They don't know it yet, but they will find that soon.
If there's something in Frigate, it's most likely going to be in Biohazard.
Yeah, it looks like Dacion's still going to be a while off actually getting that because they're going to prioritize the plasma check here in Fendrana first.
Yeah, but the big problem is that we're still that Jab and Altair are still missing plasma.
Yeah. So like looking at everything, looking at what there is, what's left to be done, it's hard to see Altair and Java managing to pull this just because of the amount of game world clearance that partners in Prime have over them. The fact they have plasma, the fact that they have a lot more artifacts and SDKs, and there's not a whole lot left for Dacian to do in their game world. And as soon as they stumble into that, they are basically in go mode. They are done. Dacian will save warp back to the ship and will await that last artifact, and Lucarius will no doubt start moving to pick up that last artifact before their keys.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure after after Chisel Ice Temple, we're most likely just going to see the Frigate play.
It makes sense. It's like the last place that has a lot of stuff left because like we're literally at 4 or 5 checks left,
Yes.
and 3 of them are in a row. So it makes sense that
So Prime has Elder Chamber left. We have Chisel Ice Temple left. And Frigate. That's all Dacian has not seen yet.
yeah. Unfortunately, we can never last check the Dark Visor because Biohazard is smack bang in the middle of the other two.
Yeah.
And I know I would expect Dacian to be experienced enough that they can do Gravityless Frigate.
Yes, absolutely. No, we have never figured out where Altair found that gravity suit.
Yeah. It wasn't where I thought it was.
Which is interesting, because I'm pretty sure this means Dacian had to be able to see gravity, but decided not to pick it up.
The only thing I can think is that I might have misidentified Warrior Shrine. Because Dacian hasn't done Warrior Shrine yet, or
No.
the Upper Fiery Shores. But I'm pretty sure it was a
Fiery
missile.
Shores maybe, but Warrior Shrine was definitely a Dark Beam ammo.
Yeah, we definitely found the Warrior Shrine one. The upper Fiery Shores, we saw Altair do it. But I'm pretty sure it was a missile. But I might be wrong on that one. It could be there.
Also, Java now also picking up double damage.
But it's not
No,
going
top of
for-
Tower of Light was an E-Tank.
Yeah.
Oh, Dacian is very risky here. But we're about to see top of Fiery Shores again.
Yeah.
Because that
It
was
looks like
also
he's
something Dacian did not peak, now that I think
Yeah.
about it.
It looks like he's realised that no, haven't done this.
Also, lucky TB drop. Let's go.
Yeah, so correctly identifying that this is still a check that they have not done, so we're gonna go just tick it off. And it is
Nope,
just a
it's
missile.
not.
Yeah. So
Well-
where was Gravity?
Dacian did not pick up Tower of Light and did not skip that, yes, but we saw on Altair's perspective that it only was an E-Tank.
Oh,
there was
there it
Gravity.
is. Door tunnel. Not far off then. Not far off.
And that's also going to be a lot more helpful, given that our last remaining checks are in frigate.
And that makes sense actually because Altair was first power bombs.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that that's kind of roughly where they would end up with it. So Dace is going to take this. We're heading back into Alon here, so we're probably just going to go and do the deep dive into Frigate. And I can see that Licarius is in Sank entrance here. Fun location that is.
Oh yeah, we never peeked Sank entrance, did we?
I don't think so. There is also a Cobalt hint here, which might be what Licarius is playing for because they are still technically looking for that Dark Visor.
Yeah.
Oh, but Dace is heading into Chozo, so we are pushing this out inch by inch.
Yeah,
So
we're
maybe-
definitely going for Elder Chamber here.
I don't know,
Though
this might be a Tower of Light because it could be that Dace has realised, oh, we haven't done this.
Maybe.
Because if I was going for Elder Chamber, I would always go for Frigate Crash Site Climb because it's kind of quicker.
I agree.
Oh, actually, no. We also have Upper Dynamo.
Oh, yeah.
We never had Spider Ball for a long time.
And to be honest, I'm still surprised Dacian did not go for the wall crawl to peek up a dynamo.
Depends on whether they're accustomed with it.
Yeah, but also you gotta keep in mind that if there's progression in Frigate, most Prime players will last vacation it because you want to push. Oh, quad itself a step. Because you want to push the slow checks off as fast as possible, or as
Yeah.
long as possible, and keep pushing for the fast majority of checks. And it's just the way how Frigate is treated by the randomizer that it's just so unlikely to have progression at all. So if it has progression, you're most likely just gonna last location it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that sometimes you decide to make the spicy play, and you kind of get inside your head a little bit, and you think, if I was my opponent, what would my opponent do? And sometimes you do the opposite, and the opposite generally is, oh, I'm going to check Frigate because I don't think my opponent would do it. And sometimes that can be very strong.
Especially if it's coming down to like major bosses.
Yeah. The only problem in this situation is that the items that we had, nothing really ever gave us cause to go in. Or at least in the order that the players found the major progression.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because of that dynamo play, it makes sense to go from here to Elder Chamber. But we are 100% getting to the point that we're literally going to last check it. Yeah, and I see some Magoos in chat. Magoo to you too. So I'm curious as to what was in upper dynamo, on upper furnace. The Dace decided to go for it earlier. Wonder if it was a power bomb.
Unlimited missiles. Well, power bomb also could be an option. A Dark Visor is in... it's in biohazard containment. Oh yeah, Dace triggered the wave slot, so now Dace will also have to fight the ghosts in it.
Java was the first to... JhavAltair were the first ones to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they found it in biohazard containment, and we know that Dacian is effectively going to last check this because of the way they're obviously routing. After they do this Elder Chamber check, the only thing left for Dacian is Frigate.
Which actually routes them pretty well now that I think about it. No. Well, there's Grapple. Not the major you were looking for.
Not this pirate be walking. Yeah, so the plasma hint is in lower Torvis, which Java is now just in and spying about. So they are going to come up to this hint shortly. It's just unfortunate of how late in comparison.
Looks like Java realized something.
Yeah. I think it's the lack of grav boost is probably pushing them away from that tunnel.
Yeah, that's actually a good guess.
Which is also another thing that we haven't seen, is where is grav boost?
Grav boost is vanilla. What did you expect?
Well, actually, Lucaris has grav boost now that I look at his player model.
Oh yeah.
So here's Phase on Grounds. Don't be like Cestrian and last check this. When it's your go mode, 2 seeds back to back.
Oh, Grav boost was just now improving path, I see.
I was just picked up. Cool. Dacian doing bar skip again so they can get into the back of Frigate and do this from reverse.
That's
I like
definitely
this.
faster and it was a good bar.
Yeah, very quick. Nice wee tank. We'll take that. Please don't remind me. So yeah, Dacian is literally like a minute away from finding the Dark Visor. So we'll be shortly seeing both of them in full on go mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lucaris is double checking what they have left to clear out. I think Lucaris might have been looking at their temple, their great temple mat, to see what was left. Because we do know there is a suit here.
And now Dace has found it. There you go, Dace.
There we go.
And that's a 1 hour 40 minutes go mode.
Yes. Fairly lengthy one, but now that we have the majority, pretty much all the knowledge at this point, I think everything's been seen. The only thing that I can look at the tracker and go, I'm not too sure about, was Wavebuster. Not that it's important, but looking at the seed, not particularly the worst seed in the world. there's some definite nuanced logic there with Boost Ball and Prime being where it was, and
Yeah.
then Dark Visor being pretty much unhinted, last available check kind of thing. But outside of that, it was a fairly not terrible seed.
Outside of that, that was not a bad seed, even though we had OP required. What I gotta say is, I don't know why, but ever since the tournament started, I feel like CGC seeds just have been long. Like normally, especially during the practice time, a lot of seeds were just like, okay, this is a 1.5 hour seed. You can also finish this seed in 120 minutes. And now we have a be happy if it finishes in 2 hours.
That's just one of those things that can happen with just slight logical differences. Uh, and it might also be the fact that with us starting with missiles, there's a little bit of a nuanced like placement thing where there's more of the game world available. So when it starts to like adjust its weighting as it starts to place more things, it might just be that those missiles, those 5 missiles we start with, just change a little bit enough to push the time out.
Possibly, yeah.
So definitely looks like Altair and Java are playing for that plasma that they have knowledge of now. Dacian is just waiting patiently for the last artifact, which is right here.
And Lucarius is getting bullied by the hunters. There we go.
And there he goes. Dacian has boosted down temple access. Artifact of Sun has been collected, and it's time to fight final bosses on the Prime side.
And so, a big difference between Prime and Echoes on this part is, while Echoes has 2 final bosses to fight, we have 3. Which, one we can kind of skip, one we could skip, and one we can't skip. So, for Ridley, a big thing is that Ridley's flying phase, for some reason, does not have a... Oh, that was a good attempt. For some reason, Ridley's flying phase just does not have a damage cap for Boost Ball, which means once Dacian Boost Balls into Ridley, we will immediately skip the flying phase and get into the round phase, where we can use an AI manipulation to get Ridley to be way less likely to actually dash at us.
Yeah, so there is a damage cap, but it's between phase transition. But we can just delete all of the first phase life bar, as you can see.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and if we position ourselves next to the artifact temple barrier here, you can kind of just manip Ridley into sitting there growling at you. It is not perfect, as you can see. There is the slight off chance that Ridley can rear up. But for the most part, you can manip.
Best thing to do here is just go back against the wall. It's really not the where are you positioned, it's how close are you really positioned against the wall. So this is where that can be a very annoying attack, given that Ridley puts his hand in front of his face, so we can't really shoot with the auto lock on, we need to manually aim it. Which isn't the hardest, but when you wait till you can see which attack pattern is getting used, this can really throw you off a lot.
And while Dacian is doing Meta Ridley, we can see that Lucarius is heading into Sky Temple. Lucarius is going to be finished their final bosses far quicker than Prime.
That is because final bosses and echoes are just quick if you know how to do them. Screw attack being your best friend.
Though
Now,
Prime final bosses are pretty quick now thanks to the improvements from cutscene skip.
I agree, but there is no way you can beat Essence and Exo as fast as you can beat Emperor Ing and Dark Zero.
Oh
Dark
yeah,
Zero.
it's never
Dark
going to
Samus.
outbeat. Yeah, it's never going to be outbeat Echo's final bosses.
Yeah. Simply because you have Emperor Ing phase 2 skip, you have the Dark Samus 4 skip.
Yeah, like Emperor Ring, if known how to do well, is paper thin in comparison.
Yeah. And yet, like, as an example, the biggest skip we have for prime bosses would be Axel skip, and even that still consumes time.
Yeah. And the fact that Echoes also has double damage as a multiplayer item goes even faster.
Absolutely. Now, double damage makes me curious. Will Lucario's go for the Dark Beam version of the S4 skip, or are we going to see the Screw Tank version?
I think we'll see the Dark Beam. Lucarius quite favours the rapid fire Dark Beam strategy.
I mean, I can see why. I also would prefer Dark Beam, given that it's less likely to get insta-centered on. So, for the Prime side, the way how the final bosses split is, we have Prime, which focuses primarily on you having all 4 beams, this exact fight, Prime Exo. And after this, we will have a second fight against the essence of this boss, which will focus on Prime having every visor. Nice run by shot. So at this point, from subchamber 1, Exo can choose between Power Beam and Wave Beam, and with every subchamber we go deeper. Exo also gets a new beam into the arsenal. So right now we can also see Ice Beam, and in the next subchamber which will come up shortly, we will also see Plasma. And then the 4th subchamber is where everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's
I like to call this Simon Says.
Because the 4th subchamber really is just a way of Exo telling you, okay, if I go down, I'll take you with me. I'm gonna troll you. Okay, looks like we're going into Dark Samus 3 now.
Yep. Dacian is doing some melee minutes of Exo here. If you stay close to Exo, it has a tendency to swipe its claws at you, and you can jump over those claws. So if you just keep in melee range, you can just manipulate Exo into constantly swiping. So you reduce a lot of his attack patterns completely. Whereas it looks like Lucarius is taking a bit of a phase-on shower here. Yep, and there's the Dark Beam missile strats. Yep,
Yeah.
figured this from Lucarius.
And that is G for Lucarius.
Yeah, single G's, 147.36 on the timer. Dacian's not going to be too far off here. Altair is in lower mines going for the PCA artifact. And Java is most likely cleaning up the remaining keys and artifacts on their end. Because they should be effectively in go mode on their end as well. Yeah, Dacian is inverted on his HUD.
Yeah, I just saw that. Dacian has inverted beams.
Which that might actually explain, because I remember there was a comment from Miguel on a past run where when you're rapid firing missiles, you want to hold C up. If Dacian has inverted scheme, you can't C up missile fire. You have to use the PAL equivalent of like what YA.
I mean, you could also just hold D-pad up, no?
You could, but it's when that's on when your thumb's on the analog stick, it's a lot harder. With your right hand, it's a lot easier to hold C stick up and tap.
Oh no! I think Altair isn't realizing that we're... Oh, Altair is... Altair did just now realize we're playing NTSC.
Oh dear. Triggered the fight.
I think we were trying to PB the Omega Pirates. The Omega Pirates armor. That's sadly a power only thing.
Ah, right. So here is Essence, the multicolored monstrosity that is. It's just a big tentacle monster. We're just going to transition between visors and stand in some phase-on. And what we want to do is basically stutter shot the phase-on pool. We want to delay and use as little of it with each individual shot as we can to extend how much phase-on we get out of the pool. And now Dacian is going to start doing I think it's still cancel. I can never remember what the terminology is for each individual one, but we're going to be stepping in and out of the pool, holding A, and this will just shoot very quickly, individual shots, and we can actually stretch the pool out even more. So we're hoping to. Oh, we'll just slow close.
Oh. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. We're just going to sit here, and it's kind of like an on-rails shooter where we have to wait until Essence transitions. Yeah, there's plenty of health on Daci's screen, so Daci's just going to kind of chill about a bit. PB the final wave of Metroids, and then voila!
And that's GG.
And that is double Gs for partners in Prime. Base finishes with a 1:51.18 on the race time clock.
Let's see if we can get the runners into the voice chat for a quick interview.
Yep. I'm going to step away quickly and get myself a glass of water.
Alrighty. Hello, Lucaris. Hello, Base. GG.
Hello, hello.
How
GG.
is your guys feeling? What are your thoughts on the scene?
That scene was, yeah, I don't know, fun, I guess. Not bad for a change.
Yeah.
You mean not bad for a seat that wasn't Japanese?
Yeah, I mean, the humorous hint at the start was like very Monka, but it was okay in the end.
Oh.
Yeah, we were like, oh my god, imagine Dark Visor would be not the light suit.
Yeah. Feeding Pit would have been the big culprit here, because FTA can do out of bounds, but oof.
Dungeon?
No, because that's Dark Visor locked, so
Oh yeah, right.
like all the caches are just eliminated from that.
Oh. But this could have been a lot worse.
Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
definitely.
I
I
mean,
even tried talking to Umos at the start to try to persuade him to give me the suit, but he didn't budge.
We were really hoping that the logic would have required the light suit for the Dark Visor in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I had like 3 checks left, we're like, what if it's in feeding pit? Haha, that would be
Yeah.
funny.
So Dace, our question, and it's really big, is do you know what was the funniest moment for the logic chain?
Maybe?
Considering your boost ball.
Probably not, no. I think that passed over my
Your
head.
boost ball was out of logic when you grabbed it. You were supposed to come in from backwards labs to reach Ether, because you need boost ball logically to get through Observatory.
Oh, yeah.
So when you found Boost, you found Thermal. Technically, both of those and the Cobalt were logically locked behind the Ice Beam because you were expected to always come in from the back.
Huh. That's
Okay.
interesting.
So how close are Java and Altair to finishing here? Because I see Java has obtained the Dark Visor already.
Yeah, so the slight difference here is that Java and Altair were first to find the Dark Visor, but that was primarily because of the Plasma BK. They were very late to finding the Plasma hint in Sank compared to yourselves. So they found Dark Visor as a result of not having a whole lot of Prime available because of Plasma.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, the plasma routing was very lucky for us.
Yeah.
I got the hint so I could save in PB.
I still have to say that pivot save was beautiful. Save in mines. I'm still very happy that this actually happened.
Yeah, and I just troll Infandrana to lose time.
You may as well. Like, to be honest, at that point, when you know you're waiting on plasma and there's not much left for you to really do, you may as well run around because you know you're looking for Dark Visor still, and you still didn't have a single suit for Echoes either.
Yep. Yeah, I was considering skipping the suit in Grav Chamber for a second, just to like up the ante a bit. But
Yeah, because we noticed you were picking up a lot of E-tanks for Licarius along the journey because of the lack of suit knowledge, or well, I guess the 50-50.
yeah, I think like you can do it with like 5 or 6, right? Like, but more is of course nice.
Final bosses, yeah, like 6 would be safe on no suits.
Hmm.
But still, being greeted by a vanilla light suit is something you don't have every day.
Yeah, true. That definitely set the tone for the seed, and then that completely shattered when the rest was just kind of, I don't want to say free, but it was
very loaded. Like the Rune Shrine having light, bombs, and wave was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, there was something funny. There were like 2 moments in both games. In both games, there was one moment where it was like, huh, this is conveniently placed. I think it was like we had Wave Beam right next to Tower of Light. And was it Screw Tag in GMFC?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And then we had a bunch of those during our seed as well, where I was literally right next to the artifact in vanilla Dark Beam, and then I get Dark Beam from Prime, for example. That one was great. Not so.
Hilarious.
I'm so glad I went back. Not so great was that I literally just went past the lock after GFMC, and then I got my space jump boots.
That is literally what I wanted to point out. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
oh, I think that's gonna annoy Lucarius for a second, because that is the worst time to get space jump.
I am so lucky that I hadn't gotten a power bomb up to that point yet, because afterwards I got a Borger from Days, which then led me to go back to Dynamo chamber to that check. And at that point I was like, I'm so close to GFMC, might as well grab it now. Because before that we were like, that's dead, you know, we're orphaning that for the rest of the seed. That's not anything. But yeah, Spider Ball. Whew.
So
I mean,
yeah, there was the hit as well.
So, for me, one important thing for me is Days. Did you accidentally skip Tower of Light?
Huh?
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
Lamau.
because we saw you go in and do the Tower Chamber, but we never saw you do Tower of Light, and it felt like you had left too quickly.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Wow. If something was there, we'd lose 100%.
Yeah,
That would have been Dark.
that's like a Crossroads hot dog moment right there.
Yeah.
That would have been the biggest hot dog moment in the entire tournament.
I usually do the upper check first, and I fell down, and I think we found something in logic. So I was just thinking about logic.
Space jump. Yeah,
Space jump, yeah.
In Tower Chamber.
So I was just thinking logic and just left. Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
And we're like, did you peek it with the cutscene? Or
We couldn't tell. Like we were sitting there going, I'm not sure Dace has done this. Oh dear. Now the one thing that I'm not entirely too sure if we ever found was main power bombs for Echoes.
Yes.
Did we come across that?
Yes, that was in Under Temple Axis.
Right.
Yeah,
One.
the logic for that was also you needed to grab the gravity boost from Profane Path for that. Do Powerbomb Guardian. Wait, no. No, that's not correct. Oh yeah, you needed the gravity boost and then go in from the Dark Portal before block.
Can we in theory call this French vanilla?
Yeah, it's right next to it. Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
And yeah, Prime PBs in Life Grow Chamber was so lucky.
Yeah. You were technically the second to that. because of the there was a little bit of a weird nuance with when Ice Beam showed up. Ice Beam for yourselves showed up once you had completed your far Chozo stuff. So Ice Beam showed up when Altair was already in Chozo for the second time and managed to find main PBs a lot sooner.
Ah.
But again, the difference was they didn't have Boost Ball compared to yourself, Dace, who had gone in through the front of labs to find Boost, Thermal, and the Cobalt. So that was the kind
Makes
of the nuance difference there.
Yep.
Also, that we were thinking about what Thermal Visor was for. If it wasn't for that boost ball, Thermal Visor would have been logical to pick up that Cobalt in Research Core.
Oh yeah. But Cobalt did nothing in the end.
Yeah, but that was still hilarious because we were like, okay, so we're saving here in Observatory, so we can probably save quit out after go into Research Core. Then we find Ether Boost Ball. Okay, we're not quitting out anymore.
Yeah, it was funny, like going down that tunnel. I was like, okay, thermal. I think I reset. I don't want that. And then boost ball, like, oh, fine, I'll walk back.
The interesting thing as well, and I literally had it on the tip of my tongue and lost it because I looked left of the screen. Oh, what was it? Oh, no, it literally just evaporated. Ignore me.
So yeah, in our ledger was lucky though.
Oh. I think Java overfaced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately centered.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Double damage is yeah. It giveth and it taketh.
But yeah, Altair and Java, not terribly far behind. I think the unfortunate, just how long it took them to find the plasma hint. They routed into plasma very quickly after the fact, but just the unfortunate of finding that kind of so late. But they not far behind, and as a result of that, both on final bosses now. Java's going to be finished as quickly as Echoes generally is in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job here, actually.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Especially, at least for myself, having never seen Altair and Java race, they kept quite up. And it was obviously something we'll discuss with them once they're in, but it was just, it's randomized or nuance between what kind of happened, just the way that certain items became available to the teams just due to diversions and the way you routed. Which is one of the most enjoyable things about CGC is that two teams can do drastically different things and achieve different item timestamps, and how the rest of the scene plays out is wild.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like one team might love doing hard tricks and it could super pay off, or it could not.
Yeah, and sometimes just staying in logic pays off.
It doesn't even at that point have to rely on tricks. So the thing with multi-worlds is, the big difference between multi-world and single tournaments is one singular item can completely change the way how a team routes. So you could get an item earlier than the other team, and that completely changes the way how you're going to play the seed. So as an example with the Ice Beam. Because Ice Beam was because Altair only got Ice Beam after doing Phantom being in Chozo again. Altair found main PBs a lot earlier. And this is simply how the seeds can alter between, are we going for this check now, or do we just wait for the next progression to be in line? And that's something very interesting to see how different people route. And that's also G for Java.
Yep. G for Java.
Gee.
And one of the other kind of things that is kind of funny is that when you start talking about movement and tricks, movement and tricks can actually be detrimental in CGC in some situations, because if you are too fast in prime, when an item comes in from echoes, you might actually just miss the opportune time for that item to be relevant
Yes.
and
For
don't actually
sure.
find its payoff until much later.
Yeah.
And also
And then the same
finding
with tricks as well.
yeah, and also finding items out of logic can bait you really big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that echo. That
And you don't
echo.
have that nuance in solo, because in solo, everything is accessible effectively to you, and it's never going to be a detriment finding one thing. Might be a little bit of time, but from a routing perspective, for the most part, shouldn't really impact you too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
And
hello, Java.
hello, GG.
Guys.
How was the seed? How do you feel?
Not terrible, honestly. Yeah, I figured the keys were gonna be terrible after, like, the game pretty much handed everything to us in the middle of the game. Like, we found Annihilator and Dark Visor pretty quickly, and then Phazon 2 pretty quickly after that. So I figured the STKs were gonna be awful, but obviously they were pretty tame. So
Did you guys have any items you like really struggled with?
I never found light suits. I'm trying to think
I
of
think
what the main inhibitor was. I think the hints really helped us this seed too, because I found the super missile hints, and then what was the other one? Oh, and then I found the plasma hints in Lower Torvis, which really helped. Like, really, it was a plasma hunt for most of it, and then I know Altair found my Dark Visor right around the time I found that hint, which was the last item we really needed.
I mean, for the light suit part, I can calm you down. It was a vanilla light suit seed. The light suit wasn't too much.
Yeah, not getting that one. Yeah. We never found main power bombs. So, or for the Echo side.
I was in under temple access. So pretty much vanilla, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could have gotten that, but I mean, once I found that plasma hint, I tried to beeline to Sank. Well, I got my Sky Temple key in Under Transit 1, and then just tried to beeline that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did pretty much the same thing, except for the little peek at the item over there.
Mhm.
I mean, I assume that you had Powerbomb expansions at that point.
Yeah, I had one the whole time. Unlimited missiles in Airy.
Oh, I missed that. That's
That's
great.
funny. So Amorphous was bait, because we had those keys pretty early.
And Mobus was flamethrower.
Yeah.
Foundation. Oh, then that was... We needed to do that one.
Yeah, for a long time we were like fearing Chica being something, but sadly it was not.
Yeah, because...
Sadly, hey,
Yeah, because I think we had probably 2 for Aegon and Torvis for a while, and then I remember right when I found Seekers, Altair found the last Aegon key, so I almost did a Morbus, but then I got an Ice Beam hint in Torvis, so I'm like, no, I have to follow that, and then we found it fairly quickly after that.
nice.
Yeah, I think the early part of the seed was primarily leveraged around Morph Ball for Prime, because partners in Prime were able to find the Morph Ball a lot sooner, so it gave them the world a little bit quicker available.
I forgot that I didn't find that until late. Like, as soon as I found that, I knew we were behind to start.
Yeah. And then the other part of it was as well was that Dacian had, when Dacian was in Ruin Shrine, Dacian had Space Jump already, so had done a visual check to see what was in Upper Ruin Shrine. So
Oh
they knew
yeah,
that bombs were there. So as soon as you ended up in BK and Prime, you were waiting on Morph because it's the only thing that really gave you any checks. you were basically positioned to pick up bombs immediately. Whereas on Altair's side, once the morph came in, there was no sight on bombs, so there was a little bit of a longer run to get the bombs.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Did so Lucarius, did you when you found bombs in Aegon Access, did you go straight to Aegon from there, or did you do a little bit of the Temple Grounds loop like I did?
Yeah, that was a bit of a gamble, huh? I went straight to Aegon.
Okay. Yeah, because I checked TAS, I checked the missile, I don't remember what storage it's called, but I checked that missile door in TAS. And then Altair read the hints, so I didn't check communication area because it was an artifact. And then I actually checked Hive Chamber B too, so it was a while before I even got to Aegon and fought Bomb Guardian. Went all the way through Dark Aegon with the Jump Guardian cycle, and then finally went back to Hive Chamber A for more qual.
Yeah, that's rough. I do
Yeah.
respect that. That's a very good route.
Oh, thank you. Coming from you, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Like I said, it was pretty much 50-50, because there's a bunch of checks you can do in Aegon, and there's a bunch of checks you can start off with in Great Temple, Temple Grounds. So the way you described it, the route you took was pretty optimal. Sadly, it didn't work out. Like, you lost 50-50 there, sadly.
Yeah, I'm glad knowing that was the smart play. Did you guys ever find Violet?
Huh?
Or that was a starting item. Violet was a starting item.
We start with Violet?
Yeah, you have it.
What? I didn't know that. I thought
because
it
of
was the landing site.
So in the preset description, you had opted for the landing site start, kind of similar to how weekly is, but there was no specifics to take Violet away. So because Violet is a starting item, you still started with Violet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we
thank
didn't
God that didn't lock anything, because I would have been stuck as hell.
Yeah, that's... see, because I was wondering why you didn't know about the light suit and stuff, but that makes sense now.
Was it a Violet hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was... yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't check those hits.
Yeah, luckily Violet didn't really have any good hints, I think. Well, aside from the light suit hint, there was maybe a GFMC hint in there, and like
I
stuff we
actually
already
got
knew.
I guess the spider ball wasn't hinted for me. I did find my screw attack hint somewhere. I think it was in like Sank, so thanks game. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, Sank was fairly empty, I guess.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot in it, bar some really rubbish hints.
Yeah,
Plasma,
pretty much
Plasma?
Plasma and an STK was all I found there.
Yeah. We did find the all-important Cobalt Morph Ball hint for Prime on O'Lear.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But that was about it. Yeah, Sank was kind of just dud.
Mhm.
Which
I
was
was
kind of scary because there was like almost the possibility of like Sank entrance. Like going in front very, very early on.
Mhm. Well, I guess like I didn't have Dark Visor for a while, so I didn't really think of that actually.
So Altair is almost done with final bosses.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks that he had to backtrack back to Flagra and the tree to get those two artifacts. Because yeah, he like just entered Impact Crater when I was finishing up.
Yeah, Dacian managed to pull off the early wild bomb jump trick, so managed to take the artifact from Sun Chamber a lot earlier.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
Spider. Yeah, Spider was a pretty okay location.
GG's.
And GG's.
And this settles the race with race time concluded at 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 57 seconds. Still pretty well played for a vanilla light suit seed. This seed could have been a lot worse.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah,
But
I'm so glad I didn't find that light suit hint then, because I would have been flipping out the entire time.
It would
It would have been a
really
big beat.
Yeah,
worst case would have been Dark Visor being unhinted in Feeding Pit.
Yep.
yeah.
The,
Bit FTA.
there was, at least, I'm not sure if you got it, Java, but there was a second hint for the light suit in Sanctuary. So even if you didn't get the violet one that confirmed it was on UMOS too, you would have got the second one that would have told you it was in Great Temple or whatever way round the hints were.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Watch Station there was a hint that said the progressive suit can be found in main energy controller.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I actually, because I went into Watch Station Access to reload main gyro chamber to get the Altair's plasma. I was like, oh, maybe I should check that hint, and then I just ended up not doing it. But it turns out that was probably the right call.
Which was surprisingly good info for partners in Prime at the time, because when Dace was kind of like browsing the world waiting for the plasma to come in, potentially looking for the suit, Lucaris, you would have stumbled onto that hint, and you could have deduced, because it was A or the progressive suit was in Echoes, you would have been able to deduce that the other one was in Prime from there. I'm not sure if you had noticed that.
Oh.
Didn't that hint say Lucarius's though?
No, it said the progressive suit.
Oh, you're right.
Somewhere.
Ha, we did not catch that.
Because there is no
Wait,
progressive
but-
suits for Prime. So
Right. Yeah, but at that point, it didn't matter anymore because I already had the suit from Prime. So that's why I kind of just zoned
Oh
past
no,
that, I
you were
guess.
still in power suit.
you were still in Power Suit.
You were
Oh,
still,
you were at SEG a lot earlier than me then.
Oh,
So
was
the
I?
thing is- so the thing is, Altair found Dark Suit a lot earlier, very lot earlier. So Lucaris and Java were in Dark Torvis high-fiving each other, and
Nice.
Java already got Dark Suit and Dark Torvis. This is how much earlier that Dark Suit was,
Okay.
and we were like, "Oh, that's Graph Chamber." Lucaris
Yeah,
is not
I
gonna
feel
get
like-
that soon.
I feel like I got Dark Suit right after my first Torvis pass because I had the super missile hint. I was still on Power Suit with not a lot of V tanks, so I was like, let's see if I can fight Boost Guardian with the Power Bomb, and then just completely failed, so I gave up on that, and then got Dark Suit maybe like 2 minutes later.
Ah.
Yeah. To be honest, the information regarding Dark Suit probably wasn't the gap between getting the hint and getting plasma was actually quite short. So chances are that when you got the plasma, you had the Dark Suit at that point, but you didn't have the Dark Suit before the hint, for example, just because of the way that Dacian decided to route Farfen. Because when you got to Fendrana's Edge, you decided not to do Fen Edge until you had the plasma to do the 2 checks, and then you chose to go into Grav Chamber, and that's when you found it. So it was like it was a short period of that information being relevant, and could have been a lot more relevant if you hadn't found Dark Suit in Grav Chamber. But you did, so you ended up with Dark Suit, and it really wasn't of any consequence.
Yep.
But if Dark Suit wasn't there, you could have derived that information and realised that Prime had it.
That's interesting.
But yeah,
Let's see if we can get our last runner into the room. I don't know if an
that
invite
was
is gone
like
out.
we saw that Dark Suit, and we already saw Vase not going for Lathan, and we were like, yeah, Lucaris is gonna work Power Suit for a while.
Yeah. Thankfully, I was swimming in E-tanks, so that was not too
Yeah,
big a problem.
and that's
Not a
big-
common theme among the Echoes players. I was on 2 E-tanks for so long.
Java was like really Java really had the problem with Dark Torvis and 2 tanks with Power Suit.
Oh my god, I think I was like, stream is gonna be making fun of me so much. I saved like 3 times in 3 minutes. I really did not want to die in Dark Torvis.
There's a reason why the game tells you Dark Eater's atmosphere is dangerous.
True.
You're right, though. At that point, playing safe, very smart. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
given that the further you go, the deeper you go into the game world itself, the less safe zone bubbles will actually be in
Yes.
the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I messed up I didn't have space jump for Dark Aegon the first pass, and I messed up the blade pod jump into Judgment Pit.
Oh yeah.
So I just went around. I was like, I'm not dying. I didn't have any E tanks.
Yeah, I also went around because no E decided to play it safe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in a race situation, you just should also always play it safe because it's just gonna be a lot more consistent if you actually take your time. Risky strats are good as long as you can perform them very confident and you can perform them very consistently.
Yes.
So let's say, as long as you know how to scan dash the Tower of Light and you can always get that scan dash, you scan dash Tower of Light. But if you're sure that you won't be able to do this 100% consistently, then it's probably worth to still have the missiles as backup. You know what I mean?
Or you can just do neither.
Or you can just do the days and skip Tower of Light accidentally. I swear to God, if Tower of Light would have been Dark Visor.
Oh, I don't know if I would have come up with that. I don't think I would.
I
Days
probably would
been
have
like,
told you to look at your map and see if there was anything you may have left behind.
Yeah, I guess probably.
Days would have probably been like, okay, I've probably just seen that item and left. Okay, continue.
Sure, it would have been a lot closer though if it was actually there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess I full clear in like 3-4 minutes. But yeah, I would have started like lower mines. That would have been rough.
And we were
It'll be
like,
interesting to watch this VOD back though, just
Oh,
to
yeah.
see what.
I was wondering if Days would have done PCA wall crawl for the artifact. Because this could have also, if Dark Visor would have been on OP, this could have also fundamentally changed the way how the seed played out.
Yeah, I guess the main thing was knowing that MQA was a key. I just thought I'd save lower mines for Plasma. Because I had to go there anyways. Yeah, that could have been a play. Interesting for sure. Because then you go frigate earlier and you can end like quite a bit earlier.
But yeah, this was closer than I personally expected, to be honest. Given about how different the approaches of the teams were towards the seed.
Yeah, I think JhavAltair played super well. Props to them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, we definitely didn't have as much pressure going up against the number one overall. So we were trying to just chill out. So, but yeah, I felt like I played relatively well. I actually really liked my end game routing, how I could just go straight through Aegon and grab my last 2 artifacts after getting Plasma and Hazing Cliff.
I would say
That was nice.
from my perspective, never having seen yourself and Altair do CGC, I was impressed for like first time kind of getting to watch you guys. Like there was maybe like a few things just kind of that you'll see some other runners that maybe you're not aware of and whatnot that could like obviously kind of be added to the repertoire, but your time behind like Partners of Prime, the top seed, is nothing to scoff at. I thought you routed quite well. You played quite well. There was a little bit of squeaky bum time in some situations, but overall it was a fairly good race seed. It was just how Randovania does things, is that just the timing in which you found an item creates
Yeah.
such a diversity as to what happens between two teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's
group Yeah, and Group A is pretty balanced as well, so you could have a good shot at getting a high seed there.
Yeah, I think our goal going into this was just to get 1 win. So I'm really hoping that's a possibility.
Just keep it up and you'll probably get a win. Like,
And
actually.
one
Good job.
thing that comes down to winning this tournament is you should never underestimate how much Randy can troll you. You should never underestimate the Randovania shenanigans that Randovania likes to provide for those multi-worlds. Because you already need to view it like this. High-tier players get randoed in solo seeds. There's been a lot of upsets and a lot of moments where high-tier players got randoed in the Prime tournament and in the Echoes tournament.
Mhm.
This is another level of getting randoed because this is multi-role
Oh, yeah.
that's bad on its own.
But you get to balance that out where the stress of playing isn't just on yourself. Like solo seeds, you can bottle a lot of stress just based on your routing and like minor errors you might make. You start to kind of tilt. But when you're with someone else and you're in a comms with each other and you're kind of discussing things, it's a lot easier to kind of remain calm and just kind of discuss how the seed's going, how you fix your routing and stuff if you need to.
Mhm.
So even though the world can be a little bit more rude, the fact you've got someone else with you on that journey just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
absolutely
still-
agree.
It is a lot less stressful than solo tournaments. But I
Yeah,
still
I-
have to say the worst. There's one thing in the multi-world tournaments from my personal race experience from my first race for the tournament. There's one thing I just hated from the bottom of my heart. I just hated it, and it's waiting for my teammate to get the last artifact. Sitting there in
Yeah.
sitting there in front of Artifact Temple, looking at my teammate's stream, looking at race time, looking at my teammate's stream.
You're just sitting there, you're rocking in your chair, your button's on the B button for boost, you're just waiting for the door to open, the artifact is incoming, it's inbound, you look at race time, you're like, they haven't finished yet. Oh, we can still go. And it's just like it gets itchy. It gets itchy.
Yeah, and suddenly your teammate's weak crashes. Suddenly, for some reason, your teammate's homebrew gets hang skip. There's just a lot of fun moments that can happen when you're sitting there like, this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, actually, I think in the first async that Altair and I did, that was pretty much what happened. Like, I was like, well, I'll come back for that later because I don't have this and that. And then he was waiting like 5 minutes for me to get backtrack all the way somewhere to get the last artifact.
I think the arch nemesis of everyone in the first async was just the vanilla ice beam.
Yeah.
And I still blame a certain person for that vanilla ice.
We're actually quite lucky that we had good beam knowledge for this seed. Like, Ice Beam being hinted is a blessing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was really happy about that. And plasma with an exact location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, if the plasma hint had said, "Oh, it's in Sank," yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the last locations you check.
Yeah, that's an FU. Like that's tough.
That's really just a that's a Randovania experience, as I would like to call it. Unhinted plasma beam on Airy.
Aha,
Hello,
there we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
GG.
GG.
GG's.
How do you feel?
No comment.
Yeah, so I guess just to kind of round things up, kind of a little bit start to finish, and how from our side viewing in and kind of watching the initial diversion between the two players was Morph Ball coming up a little earlier because of Lucaris going into Aegon a little sooner, so they managed to beat JhavAltair to the punch on that one. Also, Dacian having knowledge of where bombs were, that once Morph Ball came in, bombs were immediately accessible, so they managed to get a power bomb for Echoes immediately and done a little bit of routing there. And then use both kind of ended up in Fendrana, not too far differently from each other, maybe like 10-ish minutes apart. But the major difference there was the Dacian decided to jump into labs, done the out of logic dash in observatory to find boost ball, thermal, the cobalt out of logic, because they are technically logically locked behind Ice Beam, we discovered. Whereas Altair, you backed out a little sooner from Fendrana, ended up in Chozo a lot sooner. You's got the Ice Beam at a kind of nice location, but when the Ice Beam came in, you weren't able to do Life Grove or anything like that because you didn't have the boost ball. You did find power bombs first though, whereas once Dacian had went back in, to Chozo, basically Dacian had everything to start routing the entire world at that point. And then again, it was down to just a little bit of the hint knowledge. Lucarius managed to go into Lower Torvus a lot sooner, so they found the plasma the plasma beam hint sooner, so they were able to route for plasma a lot quicker than yourselves on the left hand side of our screen. So overall, I think routing was fairly good on both sides. It's just, as we've kind of previously said, it's just the moments in which certain items drop on either side of the teams created a big divergence between what the teams could do.
Yeah.
I considered doing the observatory dash, but it's one that I practice, but it's one that I just struggle with like crazy. So I was too afraid to enter labs that early without boost ball.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like observatory dash is one of those dashes that I definitely. It's like the step up from initial dashing. So like you have your SJF, which is super important. Observatory is definitely one to practice. Like that is 100% one of the important dashes that gets your dashing down. That's the one to practice, and once you get that and you can get it consistently, a lot of your other dashes start to fall in line from there.
Maybe if I hadn't like messed up Root Cave a few times, I would have been confident enough to try observatory.
Well,
That's fair.
that was also a funny thing, because that was just a very common case of a red herring. Given that Root Cave was just useless, X-Ray's only purpose in the suit was Essence and Omega Pirate.
Yeah.
There was no.
Yeah, I thought about it. But the thing is, Root Cave usually is a dash I get first try. So maybe it was the nervousness from a race, or
Yeah.
the kind of innate pressure that I felt of being restreamed.
Keep in mind, being restreamed and especially being in a tournament match is always a lot more stress than just doing a casual race or doing an acing scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
what you also need to keep in mind is, even though you get Root Cave every first try every time, Root Cave is still an intermediate dash, and that's for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot
It
of top
is.
players that I still see falling down.
I mess up. I've been playing the game for like 3 years at this point, and I still mess it up. It's just is what it is.
I just learned from Miki some days ago that there's an L jump for Root Cave.
There is, yeah. It's
I've never seen that.
it is faster, but it's not 100% consistent. It's like 98 or something.
I know there's a slow L jump you can do, which skips the entire grapple sequence, and you can get yourself onto like a sticky out bit of wood. But that's about as much I know.
Exactly. You can just jump up to the root. I did not even
Not very
know that
good, though.
existed. But yeah, a lot of the prime tricks in general are just, if you get one and you get consistent with one, you will get progressively better with the trick itself, and the higher trick settings will just become easier on themselves. Like, let's say scan dash. If you get the right feeling for scan dashing and for B presses and L release, you can very easily learn how to do magma pool dash afterwards, which is considered a very hard dash for beginners. R-Jump is the
I
exact
can see
same.
why.
If you get the feeling for it once, you... So, I like to view this as going out for a time with the bike, because you will never unlearn how to do a scan dash after you learn it once. It's just something that comes into muscle memory. And that's
It's
something...
practice.
Exactly. So that is the big difference between Echoes and Prime, because while Echoes has the more technical tricks, which are a lot harder to keep in mind of and get the muscle memory for, Prime has basically less tricks, but more execution for those known tricks. So we have a lot more scan dashes than Echoes has, like, let's say, Echoes has SAUs, but there's a lot less SAUs than you have scan dash spots for, you know what I mean? And Prime is really just that the tricks that the tricks will repeat, and the muscle memory will come to clutch there. But hey, for this match went really well. Like, still, the divergence was, I think, the best thing to see. And we were like, Okay, where was Graph Boost? It seems Java has a
Propane path.
We did not see, yeah, but we were like, where was Graph Boost? It seems Java has it, but Lucarius doesn't. That was when you picked it up, and we were like, oh, he just picked it up. Okay.
Oh.
I was just like, where? Oh.
The same for Gravity Suit as well. We didn't know where Gravity Suit turned up, but we noticed Altair had it and Dacian didn't. So we had to try and like navigate our mind as to what was left to try and figure out where it came from.
And suddenly Dace just goes down short tunnel and picks it up, and we were like, oh, okay, there it is.
It was so hard to track everything.
Yeah, tracking 4 screens is really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I can't imagine.
Like, I do not wish any person to solo commentate a CGC race, because that is.
All right, Jay, you pick yourself up for that. Right, so just in the interest of time, I think it's probably good to be start wrapping up. So, Dacian, Lucarius, GG's on the win there. Dacian, how did you feel overall? What's your final comment on the seed?
Fun seed.
On seed, Lucarius?
Fun seed, nervous for Dark Visor, but in the end it was all good.
Yeah. And GG's to Altair and Java putting on a fantastic performance there, especially against the number 1 C tier partners in Prime on the overall seeding and the A group there. Altair, how was your final thoughts on the seed?
My head is empty.
That happens. Java, what about yourself?
I had fun. GG's to Lucarius and Dason. This was fun. I was glad I got to do
GG's
it.
to you too.
GG.
And, you two may not have won this one, but you can be incredibly proud of the seed that you've ran here. So nicely done.
Yeah.
GG's.
Appreciate
you.
it, guys. Yeah, thanks for all the nice words, guys. We appreciate it.
So all the runners are pointed out in the chat right now. You can also just look at the brackets. They're also linked in there.
Yeah. We have another race this evening. I'm just checking the time. So I think that's in just under 2 hours from now. We have Ultimate Hope versus PVC Pipe. So that's going to be an interesting one.
That's our group too.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be on this same channel, SpeedGaming 1, SpeedGaming Main as well. So look out for that one.
I believe.
Yeah,
I believe in our group that is the second quote unquote versus the third seed. So that would be a very interesting match.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind that in the very early hours of tomorrow, or basically later tonight, we will have another race between Check the Tree and Ether Tablet, which is going to be interesting because that is the first match of our current champion defenders.
True.
Nice, yeah. I don't even know if I can get up early enough to watch that one. I think I'm going to have to watch that back.
Yeah, probably.
Well, joke's on you, I will have to.
You're doing setup. It's 7 a.m. in the morning for me. It's 8 for Jay. So it's a European. This is like the degen of degen for both Europeans and the US to get this to work.
It's like
it's just like Cestrion early in the morning. And Cos will be like, what am I supposed to say later in the night?
Better grab your cups of coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that. Alrighty. Anything else we still have to mention?
GG.
Yeah,
Good
GG's.
for the first time ever? Question
Yeah,
mark.
good seeing.
Then
I'll get you next time, don't worry.
Oh.
And I'd say, other than that, thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you guys next mission.
See you next
Bye-bye.
time.
See y'all next time.
See ya.